with a pale red. I understand that for many, many years, those of you who've studied chakra systems and that kind of work, they always tell you to use bright electrical colors in your body. But that's not correct, because that's not what your body's all about. The root chakra is actually a pale red. Actually, I skipped something. We need to talk about brown. I don't have a brown one, so I'll just write in black. And what does brown do? We said it was grounding, balancing. What else? Like a safety net. And as far as time is concerned, time travel or mental time travel, brown represents the present moment. The here and now. That's what brown is about. What about pale red? Very simply, pale red is an energizer. What else? It's also male creativity. And what happens if we use a brighter or darker red? What does that color mean? It represents anger, frustration, pain, or hurt. That's why we keep it to the pale red. It's just plain energy, booster, like a booster energy. And in your notes you could put darker red or bright red is anger, frustration, hurt, and even aggressiveness. What is pale orange? Well, we're going to learn today in one of our visuals, actually tomorrow we're going to learn that. Pale orange is the color of absolute truth. It's also the color of female creativity. What else? It can also be used to replace sunlight. What is dark or bright orange? Dark or bright orange represents heavy sexuality. Red also? For males. Females, it would be bright orange. And you'll notice in many police departments, when they dress the prisoners in their prison garb and they're transporting them, very often they're in the pale orange jumpsuit, because they know they'll be more truthful that way. That's why they dress them. It's not an accident. They know about the colors. But darker orange has a lot of also aggressiveness, hostility, heavy sexuality. A lot of rapists, if you look at their energy fields, have a heavy or dark orange and red in it. That's representing their mentality. This is supposed to be pale yellow. There it goes. Can you see that? What does pale yellow represent? Pale yellow represents digestion and absorption. That's why it pertains to the digestive system. Also represents understanding. And also has to do with the nervous system. Now, darker or brighter yellow has to do with ELF, or extra low frequencies. Mind control devices, technological devices emit darker or bright yellow colors. Also, people who take medicines or unnatural herbs generate a dark yellow color around their pineal area. It can also be a medicinal effect. That's why if I have a private consultation with someone and I see darker yellow in this area or someplace else on the body, I'll ask, are you on some type of a medication? Because if they're not, that means they're being bombarded with ELF. So that's very important to know why they would have that. And that's also important to see why the shading is so important to the meaning of the color. It's not generic, because something is yellow, it means X, Y, and Z. It depends on the shade of the color. Mustard yellow represents toxins or fear. So we don't want to ever see a mustard yellow color in a person, because then we would say that person has a toxin in them or they're afraid of something. Generally, you see it in the heart chakra area when there's fear involved. If you see it here, then it generally means there's some kind of toxin in their digestive system. Particularly, I noticed that in people in Florida had a lot of darker or mustardy yellow in their digestive area, and yet they were not on medication. And then I realized that they were drinking their water, which is full of sulfur, and sulfur can also leave a mustard yellow color in the digestive system. Next is medium green. Well, this is the heart chakra area. And medium green has to do with emotions. It's also the color of oxygen. And time-wise, green is related to the past. And can also energetically represent growth. Now, if I have an olive green color, if I'm looking at a person and I see that person has a lot of olive green here, what could that represent? Olive green represents negative emotions or aggressiveness from the past. That means they're bringing up old issues from the past that are disturbing them. When I see lime green, I have to ask a question. Lime green